Should we go check out the fermentation?
Yeah.
I'd like to show you.
The Marmite.
Yeah. See if we, I mean, there's nobody in there today, so I don't know where they've hidden it. But just to see it.
Show me the Marmite.
Come on.
I'm excited. As soon as you said Marmite, I was like, yeah, no, I understand now.
Was it that tight? This is for your toast tomorrow.
Wow. I don't really drink a lot of tea, like, you know, black tea with milk. But the only time I really like it is with Marmite on toast and black hot tea with milk. Perfect combination.
This is our homemade one.
That is good. I'm going to take it home.
Yeah, take it home.
Give
Come,
it
let's
to
go
Kim.
now.
This is like the best thing ever you could have given me. I'm so excited. Wow. This is what's going to pay for your retirement, the Marmite.
The Marmite.
Yeah.
I thought about that.
Yeah.
Usually David Silver is in here. He's the smartest cook that I've ever worked with. He studied at university first. I can't remember what, something smart. And everything that goes on in here takes forever. So we have to each side, we have chambers, fermentation chambers. Come in and smell the funk in here. This one holds 60 degrees Celsius.
Very nice smell.
Yeah. This one is a little different. This one is a cooler chamber. It's weird, isn't it? These are all the invisible things that when you eat at the restaurant, and sometimes things they seem to some people very simple, but there might be 7 of these things in it, and they're like 8 months in the making. And so to know how to mix these things together is also alchemy. 1 drop of this, 1 drop of that, 5 drops of this. Some are tart, others are tart and umami potent.
How can you taste them and then taste anything else?
Oh, you train yourself to do it.
Yeah.
Honestly, you do. It's weird in here because it's so slow moving. You just have to let time do its thing. In here, we're lucky if we get, let's say, 10 things a year that we can use, but we might try out 2,000 things.
Does that say sea cucumber gonads?
Yeah.
So the testicles of a sea cucumber.
Yeah. That's basically what you eat. That's the delicious kind. This one here is an experiment that they've been testing. Wild boar pancreas.
Go to the supermarket. Do you have any wild boar pancreas? No.
Yes.
Sea cucumber gonads would also do just fine.
You see this? So this, is, in a way, is art, isn't it? Look at the mold. It's beautiful. The black bit is apples that's been cooked at 60 degrees Celsius for 3 months. What happens is a very, 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 very slow and long caramelization that makes it turn black, but it doesn't turn burnt. Mm-hmm. It's just incredibly sweet. It's like black garlic is made in the same way. So we did it with apple, and then we grew mold on it. Mold creates flavors. In kimchi, for instance, which in Europe we know as sauerkraut, what you do is you add 2% salt to your cabbage. What that 2% does, that inhibits most other bacteria to grow, except it makes ideal conditions for lactobacillus. And then it goes through a lactic fermentation, which is what gives it that signature kimchi-ness. And then in kimchi, they just add spices and all sorts of other beautiful flavorings. I mean, in this, what we actually wanted to do here is we were testing it out because I wanted to do a staff portrait. But I wanted to do it with only people's molds. We'd probe them from their mouth, and then we'd grow the mold, and then it'd all grow together into like a staff portrait. We haven't really made it 100% there yet, but that was the test of it. That's mold from, I can't remember who it is. The mold is dead now, so there's no worry. And it's amazing because sometimes the mold is white and thick and long, and then suddenly it's purple from others. And so this is all the invisible stuff that you never see when you eat. But all of this thing makes such a big difference. It's like when you eat the sushi. Mm-hmm. And you see the sushi chef when he just puts a bit of soy on, it's like, wow, something happened. Mm. That's what these things they can do. You know, preserving food was paramount to survive in the old days.
Yeah.
So we tapped into that as a way of actually flavoring food. But only in the last, I would say, 5 years, we've had a full-time team dedicated to this. Before we did it completely ad hoc, like, fuck man, we gotta go up and it's hot today. We did it on the attic of the building, so hot. So somebody's gotta go and take all the buckets to the next floor because it's too hot. And it was like a hassle because it was extra work on top of the daily chores, you know. And so when we changed that and we've got a full team dedicated to it, it also exploded the innovation in it.
Yeah.
And then all of these things then goes into the test kitchen. And in the test kitchen, that's where we work just constantly. That's where I spend most of my time. This is some of the groundwork, yeah. There's also other groundwork, which is we have 2 full-time foragers. So they are only in the wilderness, constantly picking and trying to find new things, but also telling us what's coming and what's disappearing.
Wow.
And then we also have two guys that are only looking for ingredients. So they might go to Iceland.
Yeah.
And then they visit the fishermen.
And you're still 100% dogmatic about the Nordic?
Not anymore.
Not anymore, okay.
Not anymore. As soon as we started to travel, it didn't make any sense to us. Like we went to Japan and I spent 6 months in Japan altogether. And the seaweed guy became like a friend. And so I want his seaweed. I want to work with him.
Yeah.
But if you look at the entire menu, maybe it's 1% or 0.5% or sometimes less and sometimes a bit more. Because most of the food stuff that we need are fresh food stuff.
Yeah.
And it makes most sense. So what we do is that we might have, say, some dried seaweed from Japan. It only made sense in the beginning as we were, you know, because we forced ourselves to kind of dig deeper. You can't imagine how the world of food was here 15, 20 years ago.
I can.
It's
I was
like,
here.
you were here, but I mean...
That history of food and stuff in, you know, my lifetime and your lifetime too is quite extraordinary when I think back to the 1970s.
Yes.
Of what I was eating in, you know, provincial England in the 1970s. And even, you know, when I left art school, even at the end of the 90s when, you know, we met in 96, we didn't eat fancy in those days. You didn't eat, as far as I remember. Eat at all, just cigarettes and beer, and that was it.